It's the middle of May and the garden is just revving up production of food that will feed us throughout the year. Today I'm harvesting and dehydrating sage and thyme to be used not only as food, but as medicine. Sage is a perennial herb that thrives in full sun and well-drained soil. It can be grown either from seeds or cuttings. This sage plant is about 3 years old. I started this sage indoors 6 weeks before the last frost date and transplanted it here about 3 weeks ago. I'm only harvesting leaves from the older plant this year and will allow the second plant to become well established before harvesting from it. It will probably be ready next year. To harvest from your sage plants, select healthy stems and use sharp garden shears or scissors to cut them just above a set of leaves. Avoid cutting more than 1/3 of the plant at a time to ensure its continued growth. Early this spring, I cut the stems back about 2/3 to encourage new growth to produce a larger harvest. Sage is widely used in Mediterranean and European dishes. It adds a distinctive earthy flavor and aroma to foods. Sage leaves can be used in sauces, stuffing, soup, stews, and roasted meats. It works well with poultry, pork, and butternut squash. Sage leaves can also be infused in hot water to make an herbal tea, which is known for its digestive and soothing properties. Medicinally, sage has antimicrobial, anti-inflammatory, and antioxidant properties. It can be used in herbal remedies for sore throats, coughs, and digestive issues. If you are a nursing mother, be careful about using too much sage as it can decrease your milk production. When you're ready to wean your child, you can use this effect to your advantage to help dry up your milk more quickly. Dehydrating sage helps preserve its flavor and extends its shelf life. Place the sage leaves in a single layer on a dehydrator rack. I like to use silicone mesh liners to prevent any bits of the herb from falling through the rack. Set your temperature from 95 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit and process until the sage is dry. Your drying time will depend on a lot of factors, such as the amount of water present in the leaves when they go into the dehydrator and the humidity of the air in your home. After a few hours, test the leaves for dryness. They should be brittle and crumbly. If they're not, put them back into the dehydrator until they are. Once they are fully dried, place them loosely in an airtight glass container away from light and moisture. Condition your sage for the first week by turning the jar and observing the leaves for signs of moisture such as clumping or sticking to the jar. If you see any of this, put the leaves back into the dehydrator. If you see any mold forming, toss the sage as it is not safe to use. You need to use a jar that's big enough to allow the sage to tumble freely. Otherwise, you may miss signs of moisture that could ruin your harvest. I store my sage leaves whole until I'm ready to use them. Crushing or powdering the leaves increases the surface area and speeds the loss of flavor and medicinal properties. Thyme is a perennial herb that prefers full sun and well-drained soil. It is drought tolerant and can withstand various soil conditions. Thyme can be grown from seeds, cuttings, or transplants. Start seeds indoors 6 to 8 weeks before the last frost date or sow them directly in the garden after the danger of frost is past. Plant thyme seedlings or cuttings about 12 to 24 inches apart in a sunny location with good air circulation. This thyme is 2 years old and I transplanted it here when it was about 4 inches in diameter. Thyme will spread. Thyme can be harvested once the plants are well established and have developed a good amount of foliage, typically in their first or second year. Snip off the stems just above the set of leaves using sharp garden shears or scissors, but avoid cutting back more than 1/3 of the plant at a time to allow for regrowth. You can harvest thyme leaves throughout the growing season as needed, but avoid heavy pruning during the winter months when the plant is dormant. Thyme is a versatile herb commonly used in cooking due to its distinctive flavor, which is slightly minty, earthy, and a bit floral. It is popular in Mediterranean, French, and Italian dishes and enhances roast meats, stews, soups, marinades, and vegetables. In addition to its culinary uses, thyme has many medicinal properties and has antiseptic, expectorant, and antibacterial qualities, making it useful for respiratory health and cough remedies. Unless you have a personal allergy to thyme, it is safe for everyone to use in food. However, if you are pregnant or nursing, you should avoid medicinal quantities of thyme. Dehydrating thyme allows you to preserve its flavor for extended use. Strip the leaves from the stems by holding the top of the sprig and running your fingers along the stem in the opposite direction of the leaves. Spread the thyme leaves in a single layer on a dehydrator tray lined with parchment paper, then set the dehydrator temperature to 95 to 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Allow the thyme leaves to dry for several hours. Check these periodically until they become dry and brittle. Once fully dried, store the thyme leaves in an airtight glass jar away from light and moisture. Condition your thyme leaves by rotating the jar once or twice a day during the first week and look for any signs of moisture. If you see any, put it back in the dehydrator unless you see mold. If you see mold, you've got to toss it. To prolong its flavor and medicinal properties, do not crush the leaves until just before you use them. Don't forget to label your herbs so you know what they are in the future. You think you'll remember what they are, but label them just in case you forget. Store your herbs for up to a year in a cool place out of direct sunlight. By following these guidelines for growing, harvesting, and storing sage and thyme, you can enjoy the flavors and potential health benefits of these wonderful herbs throughout the year. Thank you for stopping by the Old Mayfield place today. Stay healthy, start harvesting your herbs, and have a blessed week.